So what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Terminator 101. I'm Eddie Green. Today we're going to be doing a video that was inspired by a comment on my previous video, the Terminator 6 Do's and Don'ts. So this comes from a channel called T800. Very fitting. I don't know if that's a guy, girl, I don't know, squirrel. Who knows what it could be. But thank you, whoever you are, for submitting this question and inspiring me to want to talk to you guys about this. So they wrote, does anyone have any theories on how Skynet still exists after Terminator 2, other than using time travel considering they destroyed all evidence? I was just talking to my partner about it and came up with this one. After Terminator 2, when they destroyed all of the evidence, what if the T-1000 didn't fully die in the molten steel, and later on, during a cleanup of the mill, someone notices the molten steel trying to move and bring itself back together, but it can't, and at some point the government ends up involved, etc., and that's how Skynet is created. So again, thank you, T800. I really do appreciate that. You're awesome. I just want to thank everybody who's been commenting on my 2 videos that I've put up so far. So that's really awesome, and I'm going to try to keep this video short because I don't want to just ramble on. I have a tendency to do that. But, it's because we're getting another Terminator film, we have to assume, obviously, unless they go in a totally different direction, so different from anything anybody is expecting, unless they do it that way, where there's no time travel involved, Skynet doesn't exist anymore, and now we're just going into brand new territory. Unless they do that, this new film is going to, I think, resemble the first 2 films in the idea that time travel will be involved, a Terminator will be sent back, right? All that stuff. So we have to assume, because we're getting another Terminator, Skynet did not vanish, right? And I've talked about this on my podcast, how I believe the time travel works, how many timelines are involved, the stakes that are involved between the 2 timelines, the effects that timeline B has on timeline A. I've talked about all that on the podcast. You can check it out. Just search Terminator 101 wherever you find podcasts. But so we have to assume Skynet is still existing, right? That's the first thing, because we're getting a new Terminator film. Skynet exists. So how do you explain to the audience that Skynet was not eliminated on timeline A after the events of Terminator 2, with the T-1000 falling into the molten steel? And I love, I really do like T-800's theory, but I even commented back to them, and I was like, basically, that ending left me with the feeling that the T-1000 did in fact die. There is no, continuing story of the T-1000. Basically, Robert Patrick is not coming back. I think he's even confirmed that to a couple different sources, or to at least one. I believe he did say that. So Robert Patrick won't be in this next film. So the T-1000, I don't think plays a part in any of it. My theory is the one that, I believe a lot of people think of, but it's the one that makes the most sense, right? And it's sort of the same situation or scenario as Terminator going into Terminator 2. The arm, right? The arm. If you guys recall, at the end of Terminator 2, after the T-800 has freed itself from being pinned in that rotating, I don't know what you want to call it, I'm not good with that terminology, but in that rotating mechanism, after he frees himself, he does leave behind a bit of his arm, right? Very similar, to the ending of Terminator 1, where the arm is left, right? So obviously I believe that is how we're still getting films, because if you don't wipe out every little tiny bit of evidence, of remnants related to these things, then eventually someone will come along. So obviously people, we didn't see it, but at the end of Terminator 2, obviously some kind of government agency or whatever, FBI, who knows what it could be, went to the steel mill and did an investigation and probably discovered the arm, right? And there we go. We're off and running. That's the way I believe it happened. So unless, like I said, the new film goes in a totally new direction, you have to sort of explain how this is still happening, right? It doesn't have to be a full, in-depth explanation, but it does have to be something to let the audience know, hey, at the end of Terminator 2, even though they thought they stopped it, they didn't, right? That's as plain and simple as it gets, guys. So I just wanted to drop this quick video here, open the gates, the floodgates to you guys. What do you think? How do you think Skynet still is existing so that we're getting new Terminator films? Because if we're getting new Terminator films, Skynet still exists, in my mind, as of right now. So what do you guys think? How do you think they're still existing? Thank you, T800, for commenting. Thank you, every single person who has commented. And if you love Terminator, subscribe to the channel, find the podcast, find me on social media, all that stuff, because I love talking Terminator. And between the channel and the podcast, I'm constantly, and social media, I'm constantly talking Terminator. So I'd love to talk Terminator with you. Thank you so much. Until I talk to you guys next time, keep on terminating.